Hey guys, I'm making another video. This one is going to be just a quick breakdown on some things. If you want to start rating more and changing the way you do business to do rating instead of kind of a balance of rating and gathering, here's some things you might want to consider. The first thing I want to talk about is your building composition for when you start rating. So I changed my building composition this morning, and if you notice here, you're going to want to max out all of your military training camps and all of your hospitals. And you can see here that I have a lot of, I believe it's 8 of each. And the reason for that, the training camps, is that if you look at the information with the training camps, you see where it has the total training capacity and it's increased right here. And the importance of that is if you do lose troops, you can sit there and queue up more at a time. So it's collected here, but if we look here, you can see when I train troops that I'm going to be training 783 at a time. Um, so you want to keep that in mind. You want to be able to replenish your troops as quickly as possible if you do lose them. And the other half of that, and the reason why I have so many hospitals, is because you want to be able to heal as many troops as possible as well. So if you get attacked, or if you're reinforcing someone's city, your troops do not die, they merely become wounded, and they go into your hospitals, and then you have overflow that goes into the Alliance hospital, but what if your fortress was just destroyed and you don't have an Alliance hospital? So you want to be able to heal as many in-house as you can, and as you can see here, I can lose a little over 96,000 troops, and they're all going to go into my hospitals. And that involves a couple different things, which first, of course, is getting as many hospitals as you can. As you can see, I haven't leveled them up very far, so, well, that's because before I started this morning, this was a bunch of different farming tiles. So, the other part that I want to talk about that's going to augment your building composition is the way you gear your heroes and things like that. I know I covered it in my previous video, but if we look here again at the hero roster, and I'm not sure which guy it is that I get this from, but you can see here I got 117 training capacity right here. So that helps as well. In addition to that, you're going to have certain skills that you can do. So I redid my Lord tree this morning as well. And so I have none in economy now. It's all in war and balance. And the reason why I put some points into balance is, as you can see, you've got your hospital capacity right here. So it gives me a little bit of extra boost here by adding that to my tree so I can heal a little bit more troops. I just lost quite a few in the Alliance Hospital because it would have taken me 700,000 Alliance honor to be able to heal all of them. And, well, I don't know anybody that's got that much Alliance honor just sitting around. And so when your hospital gets destroyed, you lose all those troops. So you can't just think like they're always going to be in there. So we covered the talent tree. Alright, so we can talk about research. And actually, I don't think it's in here. I think it's actually going to be in your development. That's right. So in your development, you also have your hospital capacity here. So you want to make sure that you get it in here. Put some into your fast heal as well if you can, so you can heal them a little bit faster. But then probably one of the best benefits that you can get when it comes to bonuses for healing is going to actually be your gear. If you look here at this preservation charm that I'm wearing, this is a 8.4% increase in my hospital capacity, and also has the trading capacity as well to augment those buildings. And I don't have the shoes that actually give me the bonus. As you can see here, these are purely attack shoes. But if we were to come here and we were to look at the marketplace, you can get gear that will augment it as well. If we look here at these warrior striders, actually might be a different one. Maybe these ones here. There we go. Phantom feet. Now they do have lower tiers. They have blue ones as well that are going to be doing the same type of thing. But you can see here the hospital capacity is greatly increased with those. Um, if you're like, okay, well that's unrealistic, those are purple. Um, that might be very true for you. But if we go in here and we look at these blue ones here that I have, hospital capacity is 20%. So going between blue and purple, you're looking at a 1% difference. So it's not that big of a deal. So if you can only go for the blue ones, then, that's pretty good. The only caveat to that is that you're looking at a whole lot of materials to be able to craft them, which is a little outside what I can do right now, which is the reason why I haven't done anything yet. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is when you're raiding, above all else, what you want to do is you want to make sure that your troops are safe. So when you're going after a target, you don't want to go after somebody where you're going to just lose a ton of troops. That's a really bad idea, and some people might say, hey, well, troops, they're meant to be lost. Well, that may be true in very small amounts, and, with value added from what you're getting. But if we're talking about losing all your troops, that's definitely not what you want to do. You don't want to lose huge amounts of troops. And the reason for that, and what I want you to keep in mind is, troops are very expensive when it comes to making them. I have some T8s training right here, and, well, I can't see what the resources are required for those, but like Arthur was talking about earlier today in our guild, was that a couple thousand T9s is a million food. And if we just look here at these T7s, you can see you're talking about 300,000 food, iron, silver, replacing them that way is very expensive. When I was healing troops in my hospital, we're talking about, 15, 16 million in resources. So there's that resource part as well. In addition to that, when I'm training these T8s here, I have a training scepter on, which decreases my training time by 20%. And still, it takes 14 hours to train 700 or 800 of these guys. So, to put that in perspective, your wall that takes 3 days to build, and you use speed ups to complete it, that's training wise, that's 12 sets of troops. So, for several thousand troops, that's like speeding up a level 21 wall upgrade. So that's, a lot of money can be sunk into that. So it takes a lot of resources to get them back. More resources by far than what you're going to lose by somebody attacking. Because even if somebody attacks you and you take as much as your troops can carry, my March has over 4 million power and my troop load is like 979,000. So those guys, they might be able to steal a little bit more than that from you. They might be able to steal, like, say, 1.5 million, okay? But they're going to steal 1.5 million of your resources, and then you're going to spend 20 million or 10 million or whatever it is getting your troops back. So when it comes down to it, it's much better to send your troops out of your castle instead of them getting hit, and then putting up a shield or porting or whatever it is that you need to do. But you don't want to lose your troops for no reason. There's certain things that can happen, and it's just, you really can't do anything about it, and you have to really realize, what your restrictions are. Now, sometimes the game can glitch and the timer can be wrong. I got marched on and the timer said they were going to be there in 42 seconds, and they still hit me. To give you an example of that, we can look at here. When I got hit, this is what he stole. So he got, quite a bit of resources here, as you can tell. But if I would have known that he was about to attack the castle, I would have sent out my troops, or I would have ported or something like that if it wasn't for that glitch in the game. This is also another example of why you don't want to attack someone that far outnumbers you and lose your troops. Sometimes you have to realize when there's absolutely nothing you can do. Sometimes the only option that you're going to have is just to send your troops, hide them in somebody else's castle. There's some different ways you can do that. You can send them to the Alliance farm tile, like an iron mine or a sawmill. They'll be protected there, or reinforce them to somebody else's castle that has a shield. If you're currently attacking or something like that, I talked about it in my other video, but we talked about the ports, we talked about the shielding, but if you don't have any of those options, you can always have the option just to send your troops out on marches to farm tiles around you or whatever the case may be, and then just pull them back and things like that. So, keep that in mind. Your troops are your greatest asset. Do whatever you can to protect them. They can only steal so many resources from you at a time.